Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome to tonight's market debrief. What we have here is the S&P 500 index, and for the past 2 weeks, the S&P 500 index have rallied back up and make a new high over 2 nights ago. All right, on Monday night. So usually in such a case, right, for it to just break out a new high, there is likely to be a false breakout. Okay, and we can see that the indicator here is like turning weak. Okay, and on top of this, the breakout volume isn't high. The breakout volume in fact is much lower than during the consolidation phase. Okay, so which means to say there's a higher likelihood that it might come down. Okay, tonight or tomorrow night. And it is also further supported by some other views, like this is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. After making new highs, right, yesterday or last night, there's a red bar, a small little red bar, but with much increased volume, with indicator looks like same as S&P 500 looking to turn down. Okay, and on top of that, we have the Nasdaq, which seems to be weaker among the three in this whole consolidation phase, having this red doji here. Okay, so which means to say there's this is like the high already of this small little rebound, which means there's some downside to come in the short term period. Okay, so all hinge on tonight. Okay, tonight I think there is this FOMC meeting. Okay, and then they could be looking at setting the pace or future expectation of where the interest rate might be. So the the rumors are that probably end of the year they might be looking to hike interest rate. Okay, so we have to see where they stand, or what's the news coming out tomorrow morning from this FOMC meeting. Okay, so if we look at the S&P 500 futures, right, at the moment is down 20 points. Is starting to come down. It's a pre-market opening. Okay, so we have to see how tonight is going to fare. Now, overall, if we look at the picture of this is the US dollar index. Okay, so since the pandemic happened, right, the dollar has been weakening due to the FOMC so-called buying of bonds in the open market. Okay, so the US dollar has been weakening as such. So, but of late, right, this has started to form a base. Okay, and I mean it seems like it might be turning up. Okay, but this is also what I would term as like a counter trend rally. It might turn up, or it might just move up a bit more and then fail. All right, so we have it all hinge on I think tonight's meeting is a very important thing. It will set the pace of whether US dollar is going to strengthen or weaken further. Alright, the Hang Seng Index seems like it is forming a head and shoulder pattern. Okay, so this is a shoulder, this is a head, and it seems like forming a quite a weak shoulder, a right hand shoulder. Meaning to say this particular support of 2008, right, is a crucial area. And if it were to break this, right, it means to say the possible downside, okay, from the height here. Okay, the possible height is probably to here. Okay, so if you were to break down, right, most likely the major support area will be the 200-day moving average. Okay, so I mean, looking in a bigger fashion, I mean this will be more like a correction. It finishes correction, and then probably a few months time it will start to correct, go back up again. Okay, so this is the likely short to mid term view. If it were to break down, okay, this is where you will head to. Okay, this is for the Hang Seng Index. And if we look at the Shanghai Index, this rebounds kind of like seem weak. okay, and then it seems like it might also have another down move, retest this major support region about 3002. Okay, so this major support region will be very crucial, okay, because if breaking below this, it just signals that the uptrend is over. Okay, so we just have to monitor more closely. This is the Shanghai index. Okay, so this is the Hang Seng. Hang Seng is also, so these two are basically a little bit linked with each other. Okay, because a lot of Chinese companies are listed in Hang Seng too. Okay, so we just have to monitor these two index more closely. Okay, so the main thing is from what I see, right, it's more on the sector, which is the tech companies, and basically the big Chinese companies that are listed in the US, one by one are being banned from or delisted from the US. Some like China Mobile, Sino, and Xiaomi was safe. It was not banned. So the most of the down move are done by those the tech companies lah, Tencent, Alibaba, JD.com, and all this. All right. Whereas the banks seems to be strong, and still seems like it's going to go has some further upside. Okay, this is the Straits Time Index. From the looks of it, the Straits Time Index seems strong, hugging on the high side. Okay, but looking at some of the banks movement, the DBS, OCBC, and such, there seems to be a possibility of a little bit of pullback, to happen. So it might pull back to retest this trend line, or even retest this 20-day moving average, before rebounding back up. Okay, so we just have to monitor as the banks has already had a very strong move recently, fueling this STI index up move. Okay, then there are some like Jardine, your Jardine, Hong Kong Land, all has quite a nice move. Okay, even Hapa also has been on uptrend. So the so-called second tier STI component stocks, which I mentioned last week, your SIA sets, ST Engineering, Hapa, and all this. The other one, they are still keeping the index, hugging on the high side. So once their short-term move are over, most likely it's all going to come down together. All right. So that's what my view in the next 1 to 2 weeks. So what are the stocks we should be looking at? Okay, last week I mentioned about retail REITs. Okay, and one of them is the Capital CICT, Capland Integrated Commercial Trust. So last week we mentioned here there's this possible movement, and today there is quite a nice rally. Okay, so do watch for some pullback, for possible entry to go in. Probably being supported by the 20-day or 50-day moving average, roughly about like what 215 or 216 area. Star Hill Global REIT, this one is a very slow moving. Okay, last week mentioned it was like somewhere like 525. So it's been slowly inching upwards, making a new high over the past 2 days. Okay, so it might continue to rally. So this is how Star Hill move, in a very slow movement. Something I probably give a little bit more attention is that it has been consolidating for a very long time, with this 160 area being a very strong resistance area. Okay, so with this 200-day being supported, right, 200-day moving average being support, and there's a nice support area here like 145, it might give this some support for it to break above 160. Okay, so we like to see if the intermediate or soft support like 150, 152 area, right, if you can hold it, and slowly push this up, then we might be seeing some uptrend happening for Suntec REIT. Okay, today's news, we have Ascendus REIT. Okay, so Ascendus REIT, they came out with today's news that they are actually proposing to acquire a portfolio of 11 data centers. Okay, so in terms of data centers, is kind of the in thing, more on the future. where a lot of companies are going into AI, deep learning, machine learning, so a lot of computing powers, data centers are needed, to for storage and for churning out data, and new programs for the businesses, big corporate businesses. Okay, so overall, I think this is a big plus. Okay, they were just going to be managing and all this, and I think market view this acquisition as positive lah, as it uh, kept up and rallied, based on this news. Okay, so the main thing is I would like it to go, retest this 320 lah. Okay, if you can retest 320, stay above, I would think that is a very positive sign. But if you were to only test this like 310 area, 310, 312, and then come back down, I think uh, in a mid-term basis it might be negative. Okay, so it all hinge on the next few days, where this Ascender Street price might settle. Okay, above the trend line or below. So with this news, so other industrial REITs also have a positive lift. Okay, so this is Keppel DC REIT, rallying back up, So the main thing is not to chase price. Okay, most likely profit takers might start to come in 1 to 2 days time. So if that happens, we would like to see where it settles, and then we can look for opportunities to go in. Okay, so hopefully it can come back down from a base, or stay high, stay on the high side, and then we can look to enter. So it's very similar for Maple Tree Industrial. Okay, having this rally similar to Keppel DC REIT. Okay, um, so similarly, we'd like to see if we can trade sideways at 270 area, or if it comes down, then if comes back down to 250 area, then we have to see how it consolidate, before looking for an entry. Okay, this is Maple Logistics, so similar, same pattern as this Maple Industry. Okay, so now it's like 190 is more like the support turn resistant area. Okay, so we have to see how this one will turns out, how it performs in this area. Okay, this is MedTech. Okay, I just bring this up because of this 2 days of rally happening. Okay, it might have some further up move to retest this 125 area, or probably 110, 150, 111 area. Okay, so do watch out for this. Okay, so the reason why I bring MedTech up is more on looking at this particular stock, UG Healthcare. Okay, after continuous drop, there is retesting this support area here about 56-57 cents. Okay, so with this, right, there is probably, I will say, some further upside from 60 cents probably to about 66-67 cents area. Okay, being supported by this, I could push this up. Okay, mainly because during this whole phase, right, there's very little volume here, the past 2 weeks. So probably the sellers are already gone, and buyers might start to come back in and push price up. Okay, so this is a possible short-term trade. Another one that I am looking at. Okay, so this is ST Engineering. Okay, it has been supported by this price area roughly about 365 to 370. Okay, you can see here it comes back down test, and then it's been settling sideways. Okay, so this is like similar to this UG Healthcare. Alright, so once it's settled done, it just spring up. Okay, so after this rally, right, it has been consolidating sideways. Okay, mainly because of this overhead resistant area. Okay, roughly about 394, 395 area. So I mean, I was find that this is probably a possible trade, to enter here, roughly near this candle. The opening of this candle is is giving a soft support, 379, because of the huge amount of volume happening. Okay, and in this consolidation, right, the past 2 weeks the volume has been low. All right, so we just want to look for a possible trade from here to hopefully it can break above the resistance, okay, in a short to mid term basis. Okay, so this is ST Engineering. Okay, last week I've mentioned about sets, okay, and personally I've traded this, entered here about 435, and I already took profit here when after it make this burst move, okay, because I mean this is the resistance area. All right, so I just took my profit, and what happened is starting to do a pullback, due to sellers coming in. But overall, I would say this is more like a cup and handle pattern. Okay, so there is a likelihood that it might break off, okay, from this resistance area. Okay, so it might break off from this, so do watch out for this sets. Okay, and the reason for this is because SIA had already moved off, okay, continue to make high, and SIA Engineering similarly, is so all these three are moving like in tandem, together. Okay, so that's all I have for this week.